rookie pitchers take aim at their first big league win. For the Braves, 24-year-old Manny Banuelos makes his second career start after last week's impressive Braves debut. He faces Brewers' 24-year-old right-hander Tyler Cravey in Game 2 of a 3-game set from Cream City. It's Tuesday night Braves baseball, and the fun starts now. It was an absolutely gorgeous day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's still a gorgeous night, but for some reason they've closed the roof here at Miller Park. Maybe that's the only way they can contain the Braves, who've won 3 of the last 4 games played here on the home turf of the Milwaukee Brewers. Last night, Atlanta won 5-3. Hopefully they can make it 2 in a row tonight. Chip and Joe back with you at the ballpark. 2 youngsters get after it tonight. Manny Banuelos looks for his first big league victory for Atlanta, and boy, was he impressive in his first big league start.
Loved watching him pitch after so much hype and hearing about him in the minor leagues and after the Braves got him from the Yankees organization. But just when the Braves really needed a big win against the Washington Nationals, he provided it. 4 big league pitches. He was spotting his fastball, curveball, slider, and, oh yeah, that awesome changeup. Had it not been for some dehydration, he might have been able to go a little deeper in the ball game, but that line right there, and there were no walks allowed, very, very impressive.
Braves very excited about Manny Banuelos. Milwaukee, as you know, has had an awful year, but they're excited about Tyler Cravey. He broke in a big way against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, it was kind of a spot start. They had an injury. They needed somebody to step in, and Tyler went cray-cray on the Cardinals. He was brilliant, but he got beat 1-0, so his numbers may be a little skewed by his record, but not his stuff. He's got a kind of a funky delivery, fastball, slider, changeup.
Our first cray-cray reference of tonight's ball game, probably not the last. Speaking of going cray-cray, that's what Cameron Maybin has been doing in the batter's box and on the base pass, and oh yeah, in center field too. Brave center fielder has been a revelation. When we come back, Andre Aldridge will talk about marvelous Cameron Maybin in Milwaukee.
area Mazda dealers. Driving matters.
Welcome back to Miller Park, where the Braves are hoping to defeat the Brewers for the 5th time in 6 meetings so far this season. They have one more meeting tomorrow afternoon here at Miller Park. I'm Andre Aldridge. Hey, the Braves have played 6 games this month, and Cameron Maybin has had a base hit in every one of them. I don't know, man. He is just rolling. 5 nights ago, July 2nd, Max Scherzer on the mound for Washington, 9th inning, and Maybin puts a 1-2 pitch over the third base bag, driving in Pedro Siriaco from second for a 2-1 walk-off victory. And let's not forget the defense last night here in Milwaukee. Deep drive to that odd corner in left center, and Spider-Man was not to be denied. Sensational catch after calling off Yuri Perez. Move, man, get out the way. He's been in the middle of everything, and that's why Cameron Maybin is a focus of our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Take a look at his numbers over the last 6 games. Extra base hit, has a few of those too. And as for that great catch last night, I told Cameron that it appeared he called Yuri Perez off of the plate pretty early in the process, and Cameron said that's absolutely right.
We had that little situation in Pittsburgh, so I called it. I just called it. And so at the end of the day, I know if I don't catch it, I know at least I won't run into him, So I'm glad I called it early. He backed off, he heard me, and was able to make a pretty good play.
So the keys to success, no collisions, all right? And most important, grab the ball, too. Cameron did that indeed. All right, folks, just when the Braves make things up with Little B, Joe Simpson breaks off some cray-cray. Now we got a Kanye problem, but we've also got some young arms on the mound tonight. Ball's next.
For Atlanta, he'll have to wait for Jace Peterson to get the game started as we look at the rest of the Braves Academy Sports and Outdoors starting lineup. Peterson back in the leadoff spot after a night off last night. Nick Markakis moves to third. Kelly Johnson hit a homer here last night. He's the cleanup man and is at first base. Uribe, A.J. Przinsky, who had a 4-hit night, is behind the plate again. Siriaco gives Andrelton Simmons a night off with Yuri Perez in left. Manny Banuelos versus Tyler Cravey, the Brewers righty.
He will be 26 years old in just a couple of weeks. 6'2", 210, born in Martinez, California. A 17th round pick by the Brewers back in 09. As you see the line from that start against St. Louis, which he was so brilliant but got beat 1-0. He went to Napa Valley College. We should all go to Napa Valley College just for a semester, shouldn't we?
Only one semester?
Yeah, well, no. However long you want to go, buddy. This guy was pitching great. I mean, last year in Double-A at Huntsville, All-Star, 8-1 with a 1.72 ERA for the season. This year at AAA, 7-5, a 3.79 ERA. He's got a little bit of a funky delivery, 89 to 92 fastball, slider, and a changeup. Kind of a, not quite, but a little bit Alex Wood-like from the right side.
So we'll see how the Braves fare with their first look. And Tyler Cravey, who works out of the stretch and not the windup. Interesting. And we're underway with ball one. Good to have Jace back in the lineup tonight. Night off for him in game one of the series. He's batting .254 with 3 homers. And that's called a strike by Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire.
See, this is already different. What we saw earlier was out of the windup, and there was more herky-jerky than we're seeing out of the stretch.
I mentioned this about a month ago or so. Mike Matheny, the manager of the Cardinals, asked why more pitchers don't go ahead and work out of the stretch. The thought process being, with runners on base, those are times when a pitcher needs to make his most effective pitches. If you pitch in this position more frequently, you might have better luck in those situations. Something you don't see too often.
Yep.
And a full count for Peterson. The pitch danced in at 85 miles an hour. Maben's next, then Markakis for the Braves. Strike 3 outside corner. Peterson was on his way to first base. Jace didn't think so. Eric Cooper, ordinarily an excellent ball and strike umpire.
That looked low. DNC Bank box track shows you it was not.
Last year, Eric Cooper had his first World Series assignment. In large part, he was rated at 88% correct. Balls and strikes. 8th best percentage among all major league umpires. One grazed the zone. Here's Maben. First pitch, he rolls it foul off his foot. That's smarts. No balls and a strike.
Not the way you want to start your night. Top of the foot, right near the bend in the ankle.
That's going to slice into the stands. No play for Ryan Braun. And Cameron behind. No balls, 2 strikes.
It's pretty obvious that Cameron's playing with a lot of confidence right now. Enjoyed hearing his interview with Andre talking about the catch last night, but it's the hitting that's getting everybody's attention. Everybody knew he could go get him in the outfield.
Oh, 2. And that's a call, third strike. 2 up, 2 down for the Brewers right-hander. And so far his defense can sit down. 2 strikeouts for the first 2 hitters. Here's the Milwaukee defense. Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Lind, Hernan Perez at second. Gene Segura at short. Aramis Ramirez at third. Jonathan Lucroy back in harness behind the plate. 64 errors committed by Milwaukee so far this year. And a strike to Nick Markakis, 0-1. Nick scored a run, drove in a run last night. He had 2 doubles. His 28th multi-hit game of the year. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cravy's getting the start tonight because Matt Garza went to the disabled list with a bad right shoulder.
It's kind of what happened before when they had a pitcher, I think it was Willie Peralta, who had an injury and went to the disabled list, and every time that spot, the rotation came up, they were rotating it between some of their minor league guys, and when Cravy's turn came up, he was ready for the task.
In the air toward right and playable for Ryan Braun, who gets there, and that retires the side. Tyler Cravy, a 1-2-3 top of the first. We'll get our second look at Manny Banuelos when we come back. Start for the Braves. Can't do much better than he did in his debut against the Washington Nationals. Much cooler night, much more comfortable night for Banuelos to pitch. Let's hope he has no dehydration or cramping issues in game 2.
Yeah, and as you can see, 75 pitches. There weren't a lot of stressful periods in that 5 2/3 for him, so he could have certainly gone deeper. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, well, his changeup's a beauty. Use it tonight. Use the old cambio, break it out on him, and stay aggressive. I thought he was very aggressive early in the count to some of the Washington hitters that set up his breaking ball. And cambio.
Cambio and cray cray in the first inning for Mr. Simpson. He is en fuego.
We're just starting.
Oh boy. Here's Gene Segura leading off for the fastball missed upstairs. I asked A.J. Brzezinski his impressions of Banuelos. He said he was good. Typical A.J. Brzezinski fashion, but something else he said that I thought was instructive. He said Banuelos got the ball over the plate, and that's 90% of it. No matter your stuff, no matter your talent, if you don't throw strikes, you're not going to be successful. And he did throw a lot of strikes against the Nationals. And there's his first of the night tonight. 2 balls and a strike.
Might remember Matt Whistler's first start was a gem. 8 innings at home. Went on the road. Couldn't get the ball down in Washington. They tore him up pretty good. Came home against Washington. Pitched well again. So my point is Banuelos comfortable in his home ballpark, in his home whites. Let's see how he reacts tonight on the road.
Whistler got the win here last night. 3 runs over 5 2/3 innings. Now a 3-1 pitch to Gene Segura. It is out of play, foul. It's a full count. John Hart, John Coppolella have said from the early days of winter when the roster reconstruction took place for the Braves, they were going to stockpile young pitching. We're seeing the fruits of that labor now. Fly ball, well hit center. Maven on the run, has room in front of the track, and there's out number 1. Segura hit it hard, but right to the Braves center fielder. And here's Jonathan Lucroy batting second on the Brewers Academy lineup. He bats ahead of Ryan Braun. Carlos Gomez the center. Lind had his RBI streak snapped last night. Ramos Ramirez still hitless against the Braves this year. Davis off the DL. Perez at second, and Cravey pitches and hits ninth. Jonathan Lucroy, one of the game's best players that a lot of folks maybe don't hear enough about.
Yeah, did you say Cravey or craving? A lot of teams craving this guy.
Lucroy missed some time with a broken toe, coming off an all-star season for Milwaukee last year. That's why his numbers show 1 homer and 16 RBIs. He's good. He's durable. He started 150 games last year for Milwaukee. And you're right. There are a lot of teams that would love to get this guy from Milwaukee if they decide to move him. He would bring a windfall, I would think, in return for Craig Counsell's ball club. Lucroy was the final out of the game last night. He pinch hit in the ninth. And that missed down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Canuelos, when he was with the Yankees before he was injured, was a mid-90s fastball guy, sometimes even more than that. After the surgery for Tommy John, the velocity's coming back, but it's like every other pitcher. It's slow to come back. He's still right around 90, 91. No reason to think it won't return.
Another fly ball center. This one's really well hit. Maben's not getting that one. Jonathan Lucroy has hit a long home run. And Bernie the Brewer gets to slide first in the first. It's 1-0 Milwaukee.
When they have the panels open that flank the big scoreboard in center field, that's a breaking ball that came right back to him. When those panels are open, it creates a bit of a wind tunnel blowing out, carrying the ball out in both right center and left center. And that certainly helped that one. That was hit just to the left of the Braves bullpen.
So Milwaukee, a first inning homer for the second straight game. That brings up Ryan Braun, who was 0 for 4 last night. He jumps on the first pitch, pops it up. Long run Markakis. Peterson sliding try, can't get there in foul ground. And Braun is down a strike.
Jinx almost got that. That was definitely out of no man's land. He came close to catching that ball. How far he had to come. He was playing Braun up the middle.
Braun didn't get the fastball. It's 0-2. Braun struck out twice in 4 trips last night. Still though with hits in 13 of the last 15 games for the Brewers. To short. Siriaco's got it. And Braun is out number 2.
This Milwaukee ball club 10-7 against left-handed starters on the year, but some individuals have really had a hard time with left-handed pitching, including Jonathan Lucroy, who before that home run was just 3 for 31 against lefties for the season.
How does this team hit .212 against southpaw pitching?
Well, I don't know.
That's their team number.
I don't know how Lucroy's 3 for 31.
Here's Gomez. He's a .268 hitter for the season, and took inside, ball one. Jonathan Lucroy, a solo homer here in the first. That ball. He had no idea where that ball went. None. It's a squib past first, out of play.
Same breaking ball. And right off the cued end of the bat.
Two balls and a strike. That's out of play foul. It's now an even count. See the very heavy padding on the left wrist of Carlos Gomez. He's been hit on that wrist 3 times this year. He almost got hit on the foot. Full count.
There's only 3 people standing there at home plate, and that pitch almost hit all of them. I think it did get 2 of them.
Cooper's hearing it from Gary Cederstrom at third base. Get out of the way, Eric. Full count. And he lost him, ball 4. Adam Lind is coming up.
Well, he's getting some firsts out of the way. His first run, his first home run allowed, and his first walk.
Didn't realize this till I read it in Braves game notes. But Banuelos was the first Mexican native in 20 years to begin his major league career with 5 or more shutout innings pitched. Last Mexican native to do that was Juan Acevedo in 1995 with Colorado. So a cool note for Manny Banuelos, who's Chase Gomez back to the first base bag. Adam Lind, the hitter, tied a Brewers franchise record with RBIs in 9 consecutive games. That ended last night with an 0-for-3 game. We were told before the series that in his days with Toronto, Lind didn't see left-handers very often.
Right.
But he's in there tonight with a .295 average.
222 against lefties. They flip-flop Lind and Gomez in the lineup with the left-hander out there tonight.
Again to first. One ball, no strikes. A lot of pitches are up so far.
Yeah, they are having a hard time getting that fastball down. Pedro Siriaco in for a quick chat with him.
That was what plagued Kyle Osh in the early innings last night for Milwaukee. It cost him dearly. 4 runs in the first 2 frames. Osh, though, got it out 5 innings for the Brewers, but took the loss. 2 balls, no strikes. Now 2-1. Down Wisconsin Avenue. Now it's even 2-2.
That's 2 fastballs down the middle that perhaps in watching some video, and maybe that's why Lucroy was ready for that breaking ball. Maybe they felt like watching him pitch against Washington. He was not afraid to use his off-speed stuff when he was behind in the count. But he crossed up Lynn by throwing him 2 fastballs.
Now we're ready for the 2-2. And it's stroked down a play foul left side. We'll do it again. Braves start play tonight, a game under 500. Braves are 5 games behind the Nationals, who are losing again tonight, by the way. Great matchup in D.C. It's Johnny Cueto and Max Scherzer. Last score I had was 3-0 Reds in the 4th inning or so. Another 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and Lynn fought it off. Nationals are without Denard Span and Yunel Escobar tonight. Those 2 guys have gotten hurt. Span with a bad back, Escobar with a hamstring problem. To go along with the injuries to Zimmerman, Rendon, and Jason Worth.
That's kind of an important part of your lineup.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes again. A lot of pitches for Banuelos. And that one smacked up the middle, a base hit. Gomez around second. He's on his way to third. There'll be no throw there. And the Brewers have them first and third. Good at bat by Lind. And now Ramos Ramirez hits.
He was not going to take a 3rd fastball. And you can see AJ's reaction there. Pitch was up, not where he wanted it. And Banuelos has got to get the ball down.
His changeup was so good last time against Washington. I don't remember him throwing more than 1 or 2 in this very long first inning. He's up to 27 pitches.
Yeah, just a couple.
So after the reset, Banuelos will stare down Aramis Ramirez.
Here's another guy, 6 for 45 against left-handed pitching. Explain that one to me.
Ramirez announced earlier this year this will be his last big league season. Banuelos out of the stretch. There's the change. And Ramirez missed it by plenty. Strike 1.
1 run on the home run. No problem. Big leagues, that happens. But the walk and then pitching carefully to Lynn to get him in the 1st and 3rd situation. You got to do some pitching now to get out of this inning and limit it to 1 run.
Ground ball 3rd. Uribe's got it, and the peg to 2nd in time. Banuelos did indeed do some pitching. And Lucroy's homer, the only tally for Milwaukee. We go to the 2nd. hitter friendly for Kelly Johnson last night, wasn't it?
422 feet. Is that what they put the tail of the tape at? So that was 23 feet farther than the ball that Parra hit that hit the top of the wall.
Bernie the Brewer always shortchanges the opposing home run hitters.
Yeah. It was more like 442. That ball was crushed.
But with Freddie Freeman disabled, that is the first and only home run hit by Braves first baseman in the last 17 games. Remember when Kelly got hurt, he was the team leader in homers when he hurt his oblique muscle. So he feels like his stroke is on its way back. See if he can get the second inning going for the Braves against Tyler Cravey, a man the Braves have never seen before.
Videotape is a great invention for hitters and pitchers in baseball. Being able to see what a guy's got, see how he pitches you. But it's especially good when you haven't seen a guy ever. And you get a chance to see this guy work to hitters. How does the ball come out of his hand? What's his delivery like? A bit of a surprise tonight, though, working out of the stretch. At least what I saw. Everything else I had seen was wind-up.
Two balls, two strikes for Kelly Johnson. And a swing and a miss. He has struck out 3 of the first 4 Braves hitters so far.
Good change up there. He pitched really well in spring training, Cravey. I'm not even sure he gave up a run. I have to go back and look. But there was an outside chance he was going to make the club, but they wanted him to start. They didn't want him to go to the bullpen, so they sent him back to AAA, which is Colorado Springs now.
Popped up, center of the diamond. Ramirez has it, 2 out. You pitch to a 3.79 ERA and allow 6 homers in 14 starts at Colorado Springs. You're doing good work.
You bet. Keeping the ball down.
And those were the numbers for Cravey, who set down 5 straight to start his night. Here's AJ. That's outside, ball 1. Another 4-hit game for AJ Pierzynski.
There's a little callus working, or maybe a torn callus on the thumb of Banuelos.
We'll keep an eye on that. That ball's hit high in the air toward left center field. Gomez on the run. He's at the wall, and that one's gone. A.J. Pierzynski ties the game with a solo homer. His 5th hit of the series, and it's a 1-1 score.
Not only that, that makes him 8 for his last 10 overall. That ball jumped again in the same general direction as those panels, and this time in left center field. Something working away from him, and he jumped it.
It may sound funny to say, but he may not want to leave this ballpark, even with the Braves going to Coors Field.
Yeah,
the way he's hitting. So new life for Atlanta on a solo home run from the Braves catcher A.J. Pierzynski. Here's Pedro Siriaco. He's giving Andrelton Simmons a night off at shortstop. And he's quickly behind 0-2. Gets back to the screen and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A.J. Pierzynski's 6th homer ties it up. And pop fly out of play into a big crowd in Milwaukee.
This fastball is right where we expected it to be, in the low 90s. AJ is and always has been a good catcher, and he looks like a catcher. He's built like a catcher. Lucroy is more like a middle infielder, and he catches kind of like a middle infielder. He's quick and really can get in front of balls, block the ball. Jeff Porter talking to Freddie about his pitcher.
Popped up. Lucroy checks the on-deck circle. Nothing in his way. And he puts that away to end the inning. But A.J. Pierzynski with a 2-out solo home run in the second ties our score 1 apiece.
One apiece, and I talked to A.J. Pierzynski before this game about Manny Banuelos and his, hydration cramp situation in his last start. And he said, really, I know that he's hydrated a little bit more than before, and we focused on that part. But, guys, it is a little bit cooler here tonight than it was last night. So while hydration will be something they'll keep an eye on, it's whatever's on his finger that the trainers were dealing with and talking to Freddie Gonzalez about there. Meanwhile, AJ, as you said, Chip, just continues to hit the baseball.
He is rolling right now as Chris Davis back off the DL hits one a mile high to right, and Nick Markakis on the warning track puts it away for the first out.
They've got kind of a well of their own here at Miller Park. I've always heard about the wells down the lines in left and right in Wrigley Field. This one is more in straightaway right and drops back to the bullpen. So the right fielder kind of has to navigate around that corner.
Banuelos gets the first out of the second. Here's Hernan Perez. And a strike. All right, so Banuelos, 29 pitches in the first inning, had some 2-out trouble, got out of it, held the Brewers to 1 run. See if he can settle in now with 1 out in the second. In the air to center, Maven broke back, now comes in a stepper 3 and makes the play 2 out. we'll see what kind of hitter Tyler Gravy is. These are neat stories. Everybody talks about number 1 picks, number 2 picks, big free agent signees who get to the big leagues. Gravy was a 17th round pick. When guys like that make your ball club, make your organization, that is a huge windfall.
It's a tip of the cap to some player development.
And a fly ball to center. Lazy can of corn for Cameron Maben. And a very easy inning for Banuelos. 3 outs on 5 pitches, and he's due second when the Braves come up next. Check out the All-Star final vote. These are the 5 candidates for that last vote as determined by fans. Voting at MLB.com ends Friday at 4 Eastern time. And of course, the 2015 All-Star game will air on Big Fox July 14th from Cincinnati. Clayton Kershaw, Johnny Cueto, Carlos Martinez of the Cardinals, Juris Familia, and Troy Tulowitzki.
Those 3 guys would get my vote. However, you talk to the players, and there was some last night on the bus talking about this, that despite Clayton Kershaw's bad numbers and the fact that they certainly aren't all-star worthy, players want him on the team.
Yeah, because if Kershaw pitches maybe in relief, he could win the game for the National League.
They want him on the team. So they'll just have to go online and vote, I guess.
Is that still 35 times a day? Find out about that. Yuri Perez leads off, and he shoots one towards center. Gomez on the run, and he goes to the warning track. He makes the play 398 feet from home plate. A lot of fly balls tonight. Perez is retired with his first. 1 out. And Manny Banuelos will be the batter.
Manny got in at bat against Washington and drew a walk.
He squared off with Max Scherzer, who was down 5-0 to the Reds. I believe he's already out of the game for the Nationals.
Well, that was that old reverse lock game. Scherzer and the kid.
Yeah, Scherzer had gone 3 consecutive starts, taking perfect games into the 6th inning. And it was Banuelos who outpitched him in Atlanta. No balls, 2 strikes. And he puts it in play. It's out to second. And that's the second out. By the way, Yuri Perez batted in this inning. You might recall last night he hit that line drive that struck a fan on a batted ball here in Milwaukee. The Brewers have not officially released any kind of a statement other than the heartfelt concerns for that fan's health and welfare. It's our understanding that She is in a local hospital in what is termed satisfactory condition. No other information was released at the patient's request. We had a 9-minute or so stoppage in play last night. Great job by Gary Cederstrom to allow the medical crews to attend to that struck fan.
Seemed longer, didn't it?
It sure did. And almost all the players who commented on the situation last night expressed something we've talked about a lot: the hope for and need for more protective netting for the fans nowadays.
Yeah, the commissioner said as much too, that it needed to be readdressed.
So we hope that young lady's doing all right. And a strike to Jace Peterson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball to second. Easy play and an easy inning. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 3rd inning. Top of the order coming up for the Brew Crew in a tie game. Baseball in Atlanta, and remember Tony Cloninger, July 3rd, 1966 at Candlestick Park. Not 1 but 2 grand slams in the same game.
I love that picture with all the bats too.
There you go.
As if he needed more than one.
Tony Cloninger, entering that ball game, had 9 RBIs for the year. He doubled it to 18 after the game with a 9 RBI day. He finished with 23 RBIs. And finished the 1966 season with a .234 batting average, 5 homers, and a .414 slugging percentage as a major league pitcher. That one's whacked off the mound, and Gene Segura with a leadoff single. 3rd Milwaukee hit.
Up, let her high, bang. A common refrain. That pitch was up, bang.
And that'll bring up Lucroy. As Joe mentioned, Lucroy struggled mightily against left-handed pitching this year, but he homered his first time up. Right at the Toyota territory sign in right center field.
It is chilly here tonight. We've seen some people in the crowd with some sweatshirts on, some hoodies and what have you. And it's supposed to, the fans here that when they leave tonight, better have a jacket because it's going to get down into the high 50s overnight.
Doesn't seem possible, does it? Official temperature outside the ballpark at first pitch, 65 degrees. Just delightful. After a very muggy night here in Milwaukee last night. And some scattered rain showers over the course of the game and afterwards. But that front's moved through and we had a glorious day.
Changeup's been good, but everything else has been up, and he's not been consistent in getting that first pitch strike in there either. Having to pitch behind in the count a lot.
Lucroy got jammed on that pitch. 2 balls and a strike.
Pitch low, middle, away that he hit out.
They got him picked off. Kelly Johnson's going to try to chase Segura down. Now Ciriaco runs him down and makes the tag. Banuelos was over by the first base bag, ready to accept a throw if needed, but Pedro Ciriaco, with great closing speed, made the play. 1 out.
Nice move too. Looked home, and as soon as he looked home, Segura was off to the races.
So there's the first out. Lucroy now a 2-ball 1-strike offering. It's even 2-2. Mentioned Lucroy was an all-star last year. Only one other Brewers catcher has made the all-star team. Ted Simmons was a former Brave.
That would have been my guess. Why don't we just make that the trivia question? Go with it.
Our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Name the first Brewers catcher to make the all-star team.
I'm going to say Ted Simmons.
He was one of my favorite players growing up as a youngster in St. Louis. Three balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty for Lucroy. And that one's hit out toward right center again, but not deep enough. Maven's got it. 2 out. And here's Ryan Braun. Braun in the top 10 in the league in homers and RBIs in the National League. Also in double digits in stolen bases. And a strike.
A lot of talk, a lot of conjecture about Ryan Braun, whether or not the Brewers would trade him. I don't know the answer to that. Don't know what their plan is, but I would be very surprised if they would not entertain a deal for him. We talked about that last night. You asked me about Puig for Braun, and I said if I were the Dodgers, no.
2 balls and a strike. Braun is signed through 2020. There's a mutual option for the 2021 season. As you know, Braun was suspended almost 2 years ago. Last year he missed almost 30 games because of a thumb problem. After all those years of hitting in the 290s and the 300s, 266 last year, 273 this year. And that one's headed for the gap in right center field. That's going to bounce to the fence. Braun on his way to second with a 2-out double. His 16th two-base hit of the year, and the pickoff play looms large. That saved a run.
I bet it does. See the location of the pitch? I don't think I need to repeat myself.
You're not too cray-cray about that pitch up in the zone, are you, tonight? There's Gomez. He walked with 2 outs his first time up.
Just before the double, we had a shot of Brewers owner Mark Attanasio, who I believe is very popular here in Milwaukee and the things he's done for the team and the city.
Deep short. Siriaco's got it. Long throw, and he got him by a step. Milwaukee gets a 2-out double from Ryan Braun and nothing else. We go to the 4th inning. Maven, Markakis, and Kelly Johnson are coming up.
Every day.
Joe and Chip with you from Milwaukee. Tyler Cravey, Manny Banuelos locked up in a 1-1 matchup as we head to the 4th inning. Right guys at the right time for Atlanta. 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Maven struck out back in the Braves' first. That's low and in, even count. Maven's got a hit in every game played in July. 11 for 25 now. And he's done good work against the Brewers. Sharply hit right at Ramirez, even with the bag. Perfect throw. 1 out.
Boy, Ramirez really panicked on that too, didn't he? Scared him to death.
I saw him play a lot with the Cubs. I mean, I think I asked you this down in Atlanta. I don't know if he's Hall of Fame worthy, but to play that long, that effectively, and that well defensively, I think to not at least have him in the discussion for great third baseman does his career a disservice. He's been that good. I would think somebody might knock on the door and ask for Ramirez at the deadline. I don't know if he can do it every day. He said this is his last year. But when he's right, he can carry a club for a couple of months. Here's Markakis. Ryan Braun caught Markakis' first inning fly ball, so he's 0 for 1. Slow roller. Perez charges, gloves, and threw a bullet to Lind at first. And Lind had to duck as he made the play, and he's smiling about it. 2 outs.
Boy. Well, you know it's going to be a quick throw or flip. You just hope it's somewhere that you can catch it. You don't plan on having to duck and get your face out of the way. Had some heat on it. It's one of those, assume an athletic position and put the glove in front of you so that you can defend yourself and hope for the best.
Yes. 2 outs. And that's a little low. That's off the plate. 3 balls, no strikes. See if Kelly gets green light.
I'm guessing yes. If he wasn't interested.
Ball 4, 2-out walk. That's the first one of those from Tyler Cravey. One of our fans on Twitter tonight asked Joe, when are we going to get our first Biscuits and Cravey reference? The Brewers pitcher on that.
We had the turkey and gravy last night.
You did a great job. I thought by the 6th inning, head would be on the table.
Yeah.
Tryptophan would have kicked in.
I know.
Mashed potatoes.
Our whole crew.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole crew. It was going to be a miracle if somebody didn't just crash on the counter.
No balls and a strike for Juan Uribe. I mean, this is the carbohydrate capital of the world. We got some goodies brought to us before the game. We'll have to show them to you next inning because there's 2 outs here. There's some foodstuffs I've never seen before.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Only in Milwaukee.
1 ball, 1 strike. Last year we had the hot dog wrapped in bratwurst wrapped in bacon. That was, I mean, sinful. We had the Wisconsin sushi. That was certainly different. We got something.
We got something for you tonight.
We ain't never seen before. 2-1. Line drive right field, a base hit. Kelly Johnson on his way to second. He's gonna deke Ryan Braun, throw back behind Kelly Johnson. Ball gets away, but no advance. And the Braves have a 2-out rally here. Good hitting by Uribe, his first safety of the night. Now it's Atlanta's turn. First and second, 2 outs for the man who's homered, A.J. Pierzynski.
You never want to make the first or last out at third base. And as a veteran player, Kelly Johnson, that's in his head. Double check, and he thought, you know what, I don't want to make the last out at third base. Might have made it, might not. Smart play. That's the right thing to do.
Good cut by Pierzynski.
Right on it.
I'd love to have that one back. No balls and a strike. AJ's 5 out of 6 in the series. Little pop. That's going to drop in left. Kelly around third. Davis's throw is off target, and A.J. Pierzynski has another hit. Atlanta, with a walk and 2 singles, takes a 4th inning lead.
I'm not sure, but I think A.J.'s on a pace for a record number of hits in July. Little dunker. right in front of Chris Davis, just off the disabled list. His throw way off the mark. So Kelly scored anyway. Didn't need to be at third base.
Now Siriaco hits. He popped out to Lucroy. And he's going to pop towards second. Perez drifts back. He's got room. And that's the inning. A 2-out walk and back-to-back singles. A.J. Brzezinski's second hit of the night. Second RBI gives Manny Banuelos a lead. Fourth inning. Talked about the taste treats that the Brewers have in this ballpark. That is one of them that Joe is holding.
You know what that is? That's not a corn dog, folks. Right?
Correct.
That is nachos on a stick. You heard correctly. Nachos on a stick.
I've never heard of such a thing. I'd never imagined such a thing. It is quite the chef's creation.
Ground beef and cheese.
Yep.
Rolled in crushed Dorito chips and deep fried.
Now,
good.
The Brewers brought that to us before the booth, and Joe went through that nacho on a stick like Sherman went through Atlanta. Powered it down, right?
If you say so.
But it's good, isn't it?
It's very good. I had to get myself under control.
Yes, you did.
There were 2 in there when this started.
Right. And we're down to 1. And if that doesn't whet your appetite.
By the way, that sauce.
First fly ball at the bat of Lind. And playable for Maben, who's got it.
That sauce is called Diablo sauce.
Yeah, well, we know. We know you're going to like that. Now, that's one of the things that they brought us. Now, I don't know the official name for this concoction.
We think this is more appropriate for the booth. This is oops, bucket of chips. This is the Chip Carey special bucket of chips with cheese, but it's got ground pork on it. Some of their really good ground pork, and I'm not sure if it's got brats ground up on that too, but
fly ball left center. Maben got a good jump and got there. 2 outs.
That's just kind of like chips, bucket of chips right there. That's what that is.
I think about eating that and I get fat. But Caitlin Moyer and Brian Moyer, both of whom are from Atlanta. Caitlin works with the Brewers. Brought that up to us every year. They really treat us spectacularly well up here, and we're always happy to talk about all the fun things that they do here at Miller Park. They really do an excellent job of catering, if you'll pardon the pun, to their fan base here.
It's different. They sell it like crazy. Come up with new stuff all the time. But I was very anxious to see nachos on a stick because that's what it tastes like when you bite in.
I mean, they've got rock climbing wall in the upper deck in right. You've got burning the Brewers slide in left. And more importantly, you have a roof on this place. That's ensures that fans can get here, see the game without having to worry about the very, very cold weather that greets the fans in Milwaukee much of the year here.
I would say that if Bud Selig has a legacy, and he's so prominent here in Milwaukee, his hometown, and the things he's done here for the city, but the legacy will be this ballpark.
Downstairs, 3 balls and a strike to Chris Davis. Yeah, they have an exhibit here at the ballpark called the Bud Selig Experience. It chronicles the career of the former commissioner, former owner of the Brewers, who was absolutely heartbroken when the Braves left Milwaukee and went to Atlanta. He tried for quite a while to get a major league team here and finally got the Seattle Pilots to come to Milwaukee. And the rest, they say, is history. Full count pitch from Banuelos. 2 fly balls. Starts the inning for him. And Davis pops it out of play, foul. Say what you will about the legacy of Bud Selig. Whether you agree with all of his policies as commissioner, there's one undisputable, undeniable fact that Bud Selig loved the game of baseball. And in that regard, he was a tremendous caretaker for the national pastime. A fan, passionate, lived it, breathed it, nurtured it here. And like anything else in life, I'm sure Bud Selig would agree that he has left the game in better shape as former commissioner than he took over when he assumed the interim commissioner's position and then became the full-time commissioner of the sport. That's quite a legacy for Robert Manfred to try to follow. 2-out walk to Davis. Here's Perez, who flied out. Upstairs.
A little reminder from AJ there not to fly open with that front shoulder. Davis on the disabled list with a bad knee. They don't run much. They've got 2 or 3 guys in their lineup that do most of their running. Davis is not having a stolen base or an attempt this year.
That missed inside. 2 balls, no strikes. A little bit more of a struggle for Banuelos tonight. And he's getting fly ball outs in this game. 7 of them, 6 of them to the right guy, Maben, in the deepest part of the ballpark.
That's true, but another 2-0 count here. And there have been a ton of those tonight.
Back to the screen and out of play. It's 2 balls and a strike. Out of play, foul. This crowd in Milwaukee, and it's a good one tonight. Remember the games in Montreal where you'd sit and you'd watch the game, you'd have a lot of people there, but it almost sounded like the theater. Wasn't a whole lot of cheering, a whole lot of noise. They're very quietly observing every pitch, every play. Very low din at Miller Park.
Well, most of them have been here since about 2 o'clock tailgating.
That's a good point.
So the first couple of innings is kind of the end of their nap, and then they kind of restart.
I was looking for the two guys with the cups from last night.
I bet they'll show up again
in the 9th inning. They were great. 2-2 pitch, ground ball to short. And the flip to second will end the inning. Banuelos doing a nice job tonight. A lot of pitches. Mr. Baseball here. Bob Uecker seats. 2-1 Atlanta. Perez, Manny Banuelos, and Jace Peterson are coming up. Braves fans enjoying the score so far. A.J. Pierzynski's knocked in both Atlanta runs tonight. And a liner into center. That'll get down for a leadoff hit.
Nice piece of hitting there by Perez. 1 for 4 last night. Base hit and a run scored. Breaking ball was hanging, but it was out away from him and able to reach out and get it. Maybe we'll see him run now.
We've been waiting to see it. He was a big stolen base man with Gwinnett. And that pitch off the plate as Banuelos was thinking about a bunt. 1 ball, no strikes. And the thinking there is if he steals second, he can run into third. Two and 0. There's a strike. It's 2-1. There's the bunt. It's a beauty. Sacrifice by Banuelos. Yuri Perez at second, 1 out.
Nice job. Didn't offer it a couple of bad pitches to start the at bat.
RBI chance for Jace Peterson now. He is struck out and grounded out. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, his average dipping. He's at 253. 7 for his last 55. Playing a solid second base. Turning that double play. But his swing, that day off yesterday, ought to help him, I would guess, because I thought his swing was getting a little long.
One ball, no strikes. In the air to center. Gomez drifts back, still going back. There's the catch. Perez tags. Here comes the throw to third. It'll be cut off. And Peterson flies out. 2 are out for Cameron Maybin. A lot of fly ball outs to center tonight.
They sure are. Both sides.
Both Braves runs have come with 2 outs. That's the situation for Maybin.
Braves called up another pitcher today. A return for Mike Foltynewicz, who's in the bullpen. Joey Tardasevich sent back to Gwinnett. When you're heading to Coors Field, you need as many arms as you can get.
There's a shot toward right, tailing away from Braun. Can't get there, and he can't keep it in front. A run is in. Maybin to second, on his way to third. Throw comes in very late, and Atlanta leads 3-1. Love the 2-out hitting for the Braves tonight. And it's 40 RBIs for Cameron Maybin now.
If you're not going to catch it, you need to try and knock it down. This ball was slicing away from Ryan Braun all the way, and he just flat ran right by it and kind of waved at it.
Thank you very much.
40 RBIs. Very impressive, huh?
Markakis 0 for 2. Knee-high strike, even count. Drew looking up for us. You know how many RBIs Cameron Maybin had in 2013 and 2014 combined? 20 in 2 years. He's got 40 this year. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, I think he would be the first to tell you that Kevin Seitzer's hitting program kind of got him turned around. When you find something, as he did just watching a Braves game on TV while he was still with San Diego, and saying, you know what, hey, I think that might be something that would work for me, and be able to apply it. And then, of all things, get traded over here and be able to really institute it into what you're trying to do. Great thing for him.
To center. Gomez gets there, and that retires the side. The Braves score their third 2-out run of the ball game and take a 3-1 lead into the home fifth.
We've been singing the praises of Cameron Maybin for good reason. I told him before the game, it looks like you're going to get hit in every day of the month for July. He said, well, that indeed is the challenge. But he also added that he's getting closer to 100%. He keeps saying, I'm not even 100% yet. And the better I feel health-wise, I can only be better as a player. And he's also noticing that his good play is drawing attention around Major League Baseball. He just adds, I only want to be an Atlanta Brave. I love being in Atlanta. This is just a perfect time in my life right now. And if everything's in my power, hopefully I will be a Brave for a long, long time, guys.
Thank you, Andre. And that's a good point. Nobody knows what Cameron Maybin's fate will be as an Atlanta Brave. He's under contract the rest of this year, next year, and there's an option on his contract for 2017.
11 of 18 first pitch strikes from Banuelos. It's gotten better the last 2 innings.
To short, Siriaco's got it, and he retires the Brewers pitcher. 1 out. That'll bring up Segura. Key play in this ball game was the 3rd inning. Segura led off with a single, was picked off. And then with 2 outs, Ryan Braun doubled. That would have given Milwaukee a 1-run lead.
This guy's a nice player. I don't know that I have him in my National League top 3 or 4 with Simmons, Crawford, Cozart, Echeverria. I don't know that he's in that group, but he's a good player.
Segura just turned 25. Formerly of the Angels. Brewers sent Zach Greinke to Anaheim for Segura. His best year was 2 years ago. As he's down on strikes, Segura had 10 triples, 12 homers, and hit .294 in 2013.
After 7 strikeouts against the Nationals in 5+ innings, that's his first strikeout tonight.
Keeps the bases empty for Lucroy, who homered and flied out. Segura also that year stole 44 bases.
Yeah. Good all-around player.
Manuelos threw 29 first-inning pitches. He's been much more economical since. That was his 76th.
Might have been overthrowing that breaking ball earlier tonight when he was leaving it upstairs. Couldn't get it to break down because he was throwing it too hard.
So he's through the Brewer lineup now twice. Begins his 3rd trip through with Lucroy batting with 2 outs. And he missed. 3-1. Fly ball center. Maybin back. He's got room. That's where fly balls have gone to die tonight. Lucroy hit it right on the screws, but he's 1 for 3. And we go to the 6th. 29 first inning pitches has settled in very nicely. And this is what we were talking about earlier. What's so exciting about what the Braves are doing now and what they will be doing in the future. Our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot, the fountain of youth on the mound for the Braves.
And just the number of wins. It's not even the number of starts. Rookie pitcher wins. Joe Madden leaves Tampa Bay. Players leave Tampa Bay, trades everything. Nobody gave them much of a shot to do anything. They've done a great job there this year.
Nobody's done more with less than the Tampa Bay Rays. We talk about big league finances and the division in which they play. It really is a remarkable story. Despite losing 8 of their last 10 games, the Rays are only 2 games out of first place. The Yankees are atop the division. We'll see the Yankees and the second place Orioles later on this summer. Tampa Bay playing a doubleheader today. Had their hearts broken in the first game against the Kansas City Royals. A walk-off grand slam for the Royals won game 1.
Oh, was that kid they just called up?
Yeah, I can't remember his
Paulo
yes.
Orlando?
Yes, that's exactly who it was. Pop up. Playable. Davis has it. 1 out.
Well, at least they let a left fielder catch one.
It's against Major League rules to not have at least one fly ball out to left field. There it is. Here's Uribe. He's singled in 2 trips. Yankees, Royals, and Astros are the first place teams in the American League. The Angels are 3.5 games behind Houston. Texas is fading. They're 7 back in the AL West.
Well, the Angels have cut that lead down quite a bit.
Yeah. There's Segura, slides to his right and got his man. 2 down.
Craig's been good tonight. His one mistake, I mean, he gave up a 2-out homer to AJ, but like I said about Lucroy's homer in the first inning, those things happen in the big leagues. But the 2-out walk to Kelly led to a go-ahead run that was followed by hits by Uribe and AJ. And remember, AJ's was just a flare to left that dropped him, that got the run in. In the last inning, the Braves got a clutch 2-out hit from a hot hitter. But otherwise, I think this guy's looked pretty good tonight. And he's not a fireballer. He's been right around 90.
He's pitching.
Fireball.
Your favorite song, right?
Yeah.
1 ball, no strikes. A.J. Przinsky.
It's like a video game.
It is. Oh, hum, another 3-hit game for the Braves catcher. Another 2-out hit.
He had 3 hits Sunday. He had 4 hits yesterday. He's got 3 hits today. Little spinner breaking ball didn't do much. Just get them while you can.
Let's see if Pedro can chase him around and extend the Braves lead. It's 3-1 Atlanta. A strike over the inside corner. That's lined over short. Davis cuts it off in left center. AJ's going to go for third. The throw's going to come into second. That's a smart play. And the Braves have him first and third with 2 outs.
Bruce Davis did a 360 spin just to throw the ball to second. I think he had thoughts of trying to throw AJ out at third base and thought better of it. AJ entered play Sunday as he catches his breath. He entered play Sunday hitting 258. He's hitting 290 right now.
That
was 2 days ago.
That's a nice run. Ground ball on a broken bat by Perez. The flip quickly to second is in time. And that will retire the side. The ageless wonder, A.J. Pierzynski, has a 3-hit night, and the Braves have a 2-run lead. There's the always exciting hot dog race, or the sausage race, I should say, won by the hot dog.
Hot dog.
Don't even get a chance to place your bets. They show the video so quickly when we come back. But whether your racing sausage finishes first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, remember, everyone's a winner. Time for AT&T Uver's trivia question. Aramis Ramirez, one of 3 players with at least 15 homers and a .315 average against the Braves. Who are the other 2?
Well, let's see. If we subtract him, that only leaves 680 players.
Yeah. I think Gretchen gave these impossibly hard trivia questions to us before she fled the country, knowing the outrage that would ensue. And no chance for us to complain in person.
I'm pretty much blaming Drew.
Yeah. All right. I'd say Ryan Howard, but I don't know if he has the batting yet.
315 and what?
15 homers. And how many RBIs, Drew?
Was just averaging homers.
Homers.
Yeah.
Okay. So 315 and 15. We know Howard has the 15. He's got 50.
Yeah.
So that's the easy part. I don't know about the 315 average, though. I think it might be a little too high for Howard. Ryan Braun, an 0-2 count. Bouncing ball to second. He's going to be an out. And there's the first in the inning. Remember earlier today we showed you Banuelos after his first inning getting that pitching thumb checked out.
And that is raw. That's right where the baseball rests on his thumb.
So you saw that treatment by Jeff Porter, the Braves athletic trainer, on the dugout bench. He's rolling along now. 1 out in his 6th inning. He's thrown 84 pitches and he's allowed only 4 hits. There's a shot toward left center field. That's going to get down and roll over the fence. Carlos Gomez has doubled with 1 out. And he's on in front of Adam Lind. That's the first Brewers hit since the third inning when Ryan Braun doubled. And 16 two-base hits for Gomez now.
Left that one up, and you can see Manny kind of hopped when he threw it. He knew that it was in the danger zone.
How about Joey Votto as a guest? And Matt Holliday. As Aroldis Vizcaíno begins to loosen in the Braves bullpen. He and David Carpenter were brought up from the minor leagues before this series began in Milwaukee. And Lynn skies one out of play, foul, strike one. Now the crowd at Miller Park tries to get loud for Lind. Back toward us. And just out of reach. A strikeout would be nice. And he's got Lind in a deep two-strike count. Nice stop by Perzinski. 1-2.
That sounded like a lot of skin. Bare arm. He rolled up his arm a little bit. Nice play.
Tried a corner and missed it.
Good pitch.
Final in Washington, Reds shut out the Nationals 5-0. Cueto beat Scherzer. So ground to be gained in the division if Atlanta can hold off the Brewers tonight.
Could get within 4.
Launched out of play to the left.
Another pitch that was up. That one was really up. Letter high. If they were trying to go upstairs and get him to chase something out of the zone, they didn't get it high enough.
Old higher than high fastball. And he missed low and in. Full count.
He's letting that runner at second distract him too much, and that may be why AJ's going out to talk to him, because he's watching Siriaco or he's watching Gomez, and that time he hadn't even picked up his target at home plate when he turned to throw the pitch to the plate. Gomez not going anywhere.
Full count pitch for the Brewers' first baseman. And he lost him. 2 on, 1 out. And now Aramis Ramirez hits. And Freddie Gonzalez is going to make the call to the bullpen. So 3 walks for Banuelos in his second big league start. He'll lead the game after 92 pitches. He went 5 innings and 1/3, and now the Atlanta bullpen, which has been terrific of late, is in play in the 6th inning. We'll see how it works out in a moment. Take on the Cubs Saturday, July 18th. A ticket package includes a discounted game ticket and exclusive T-shirt. Inclusion in a pregame parade around the field. Don't miss out on this memorable night. Go to Braves.com/mother-son today.
Yeah,
time runs on.
I was having a little trouble with that Mother Sunday Saturday. Tracking that.
A little confusing, but I think you got it straight.
I got it.
So welcome back, Arodys Vizcaino, back from his 80-game suspension. And this is his body of work in 8 minor league games.
No question about his arm. Good arm, throws hard, good hard slider. It's about command. If he throws strikes, he will be a big addition to the Braves bullpen.
Ramos Ramirez is 0 for 2. And that's down and away at 97 miles an hour. Ball 1. Vizcaino was originally a Yankee. Bouncing ball to third. Uribe's got it. There's one. Peterson the turn, a double play.
Welcome back,
Yankee Doodle, Arodys Vizcaino. Great welcome to the Braves bullpen. A double play. We'll talk more about him when we come back.
By your Atlanta area Mazda dealers. Driving matters.
Time for our Mazda game summary. More great pitching from the Braves in Milwaukee in Game 2.
And more outstanding hitting from A.J. Brzezinski. 3 hits Sunday, 4 hits last night, 3 hits tonight, including a homer. Cameron Maben, another base hit. It was a triple and an RBI. Banuelos will leave the game with a 2-run lead. Good job by Vizcaino to get the double play.
And he'll be taken down for Johnny Gomes. Vizcaino's a guy that's been coveted by the Braves since 2009. Braves got him from the Yankees for Javier Vazquez. He missed 2 years with Tommy John surgery. Was traded to the Cubs for Paul Maholm and Reed Johnson. Atlanta then traded Tommy La Stella for Arodys Vizcaino and 3 international bonus pool slots at the end of last year. That's why he's back with the Braves. So here in the Atlanta 7th, Gomes, Peterson, and Maben are coming up. Will Smith is up in the Brewers bullpen if there's any trouble. Still ways to go in this game, but the old adage in baseball seems to be proven time and time again. Milwaukee was a red-hot offensive club at the start of this series. Braves calmed them down last night. Milwaukee has 1 run tonight. It was a Brewer team that had double-digit hits in every game on their road trip. Had scored in the first inning in 6 of those 7 games. And was riding an 8-game winning streak. And now Gomes cracks one toward Davison left. That's over his head and off the base of the fence. Takes a funny bounce and dies at the bottom of the wall. And Johnny Gomes with a leadoff double.
I never get tired of watching that swing. It is such a short, quick, compact swing, but also powerful. And watch how short the finish is. I mean, I'm not even sure it goes around behind his left shoulder.
You know that finish reminds me of?
Mike Schmidt.
Dante Bichette.
Yeah.
Except he had the recoil.
Yeah. Reminds me of Mike Schmidt all the time with that short, quick finish.
That's going to be the end of the line for Mr. Cravey. He pitched well tonight, but 3 runs, 8 hits, and a Braves base runner at second base. Milwaukee's in the bullpen, and the top of the order's coming up. With a leadoff double, and that'll bring on Will Smith, a terrific talent, and in his 39th game for Milwaukee.
Great numbers. Check it out. I mean, 40 strikeouts in 30-plus innings with only 12 walks, sub-200 batting average. He's having a great year. He is the guy in Atlanta in late May where Freddie Gonzalez asked the home plate umpire to check out what he had on his arm. Jimmy Joyce said bye-bye. Smith was yelling at Freddie Gonzalez in the Braves dugout, but he's the guy that had the junk on his arm.
But he had a good lawyer because his 8-game suspension was cut to 6. And since then, he's been almost unhittable. 1 earned run in his last 19 outings.
Well, he's good. He's
really good.
He didn't need all that tacky stuff on his arm, whatever it was.
LaCroix and I stop. Even count for Jace Peterson.
You know what was really cool was like the next day, Jen Hildreth was trying to see if that stuff was really sticky.
Right.
So she like poured it all over, and her hair was sticky, and her eyelashes stuck together when she rubbed her eye. Remember that?
We had to pry the microphone out of her hand
Yes.
at the end of the night. Bless her heart.
It was tacky.
2 balls and a strike. Jace Peterson. Will Smith's out of Noonan. They got him from the Royals for Nori Aoki. Boy, could you imagine this guy in the Kansas City bullpen? Yikes. Like they need any more help. And a bunt try and foul at third. It's now 2-2. That's outside. Smith's brought on to get the lefties out. He's in danger of walking Jace Peterson.
Well, maybe that will mean Jace gets a little better pitch to try and pull here. As we told you, Foltynewicz just called back up today.
And Peterson walks. Thank you very much. Smith walks the first man he faces, and now Cameron Maybin bats. He tripled home a run last time up. Lefty's hitting .234 against Will Smith. Righty's only .141. That's a lot.
Nasty slider, back foot slider. And he throws hard. He's in the mid-90s.
2 on, nobody out. And low. 1 ball, no strikes. All gifts accepted for Atlanta in the 7th. 2 on, nobody out. Already a 2-run Braves lead. Two really good pitches.
Yeah, really did a nice job after falling behind of making 2 pitches he needed to make.
Bounced foul at third. Sense a little frustration by the ball boy down the left field line where the tarp is. He's in a gold jersey. He came out on the field of play ready to make the play, and Ramirez cut him off. Just took that foul ball right away from him. He's throwing his hands up.
And he already had a deal with the pretty girl over there behind the cart.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez, there's one. And the throw to first is in time, a double play. That's hit a little harder. You know what he's thinking.
He's smiling about it already, that he thought better about it. Not starting a triple play.
So Peterson at second with 2 outs. It's hit a little harder. Might have had a shot. Peterson runs well. Maben runs well. He took the sure double play. And now it's another lefty-lefty matchup for Smith with Nick Markakis up there. He's 0 for 3. Low, 1 ball, no strikes. Into the second deck, out of play, foul.
2-out RBIs have been kind to the Braves tonight. Maybe they can get another one. Great numbers for Nick coming through in the clutch. Good speed at second. Good arms in center and right.
Take low.
Nick is making him work.
16 pitches for Smith. Markakis, the third man he's faced. Walked Peterson, got Maben to hit into a double play. And now it's a 2 ball, 2 strike count. 3-1 Braves. Single runs in the second, fourth, and fifth. And a shot into shallow center. It's in for a hit. Jace Peterson scores as Markakis bloops one just out of reach of Segura. Another 2-out RBI for the Braves tonight. That extends the lead.
Broke his bat in half. Reaching for that breaking ball. Sawed off the handle right in his hand, and Segura, great effort, couldn't come up with it. That is definitely a Ric Flair to center.
Woo. So the walk by Smith is cashed in by Atlanta, and Kelly Johnson hits. 4-1 Braves tonight. And down and hit. 1 ball, no strikes. Mike Fultonevich looks to be ready for the bottom of the 7th. He'll have the 7, 8, and 9 hitters scheduled for the Brewers. Ripped to right, but right at Ryan Braun. He's got it, and that'll retire the side. A big insurance run for Atlanta in the top of the 7th on a couple of hits and a key walk. 4-1 Braves.
swallowed up by the tarp. Those guys were lying on the ground trying to hold that tarp low to the ground. The players raced out there to try to help pull the tarp off that grounds crew. Scary situation.
So here we go, home seventh. It's Mike Foltynewicz, who has started games for the Braves. Now is pitching out of the bullpen for the Braves.
He's allowed only 4 total earned runs over his last 3 starts for Gwinnett, but has not worked out of the bullpen since last year with Houston. And the key for him will, like Vizcaino, be strikes. His last 3 starts for Gwinnett, 5 innings, 4 walks, 7 innings, 3 walks, 6 innings, 3 walks. So coming out of the bullpen, you're not allowed that luxury of walking a guy and having an inning or 2 to kind of work around it. He's got to come in throwing strikes.
I guess the question for Foltynewicz, besides the control, is his secondary stuff good enough to make him a starting pitcher? There's no mistaking he can do that all night long.
Yeah. Yes, he can.
And so as a relief pitcher in a situation like this, he can come in and throw fastball after fastball to Chris Davis, who leads things off. And he's thrown 2 in a row at 97 and 98. Three young arms have pitched for the Braves tonight. And that one is out of play, foul. Nothing but fastballs.
I like it. And with the way the Braves are playing right now, you get latter stages of the ball game. Avilan can't pitch the 7th every night.
Right.
Johnson can't pitch the 8th inning every night.
But this guy, with his arm and with his starting experience, could be like Jim Johnson Jr. He could go 2 tonight, perhaps.
Use that fastball.
One ball, 2 strikes. Davis, Perez, and then the pitcher's spot. And to right, Markakis plays it safely. Davis with a 2-strike single to right. So it won't be Perez, it'll be Scooter Gennett.
This pitch was at 98. Davis put a big swing on it. Went after him.
That's outside, ball 1. There's some who think, Joe, that Mike Foltynewicz could be a closer in the major leagues. Throws hard enough, certainly. Command, though, as he just broke the bat of Gennett, is a big issue. But many closers at the age of, or guys that could be closers like Foltynewicz, serve an apprenticeship, pitching the 6th, the 7th, then the 8th, and then eventually the 9th innings. Brad Lidge comes to mind.
If you can prove that you can throw strikes, because you cannot be a closer if you can't throw strikes. The only guy I can think of that did a serviceable job in the closer's role that was wild as crazy was Mitch Williams. And that was 2 packs a night for the manager.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike for Scooter Gennett. In the air and playable for Perez. He's got it. There's out number 1. Fans, don't miss Alumni Weekend Friday, August 7th, 8th, and 9th when the Braves take on the Marlins. Join us Friday night for great autograph opportunities, and on Saturday the first 20,000 fans in attendance get a '95 World Series replica ring. Get here early for the 6th annual Legends softball game that Saturday. For tickets, go to Braves.com/Alumni Weekend. This is Shane Peterson. He'll hit for Smith. the back. It's 0-2. Lasik will be next out of the chute for the Brewers bullpen.
So far, so good for Fulte. 10 pitches, 8 strikes. And AJ wanted that one out of the zone.
In the air to left again. Perez can't get it. It's over his head. Davis around second, on his way to third. He's going to get waved home. And there will be no throw. It's now a 4-2 game.
Misjudge that ball or lose it?
Have to take a look and see. It also died under the padding or scoreboard out there in left, which helped the Brewers' cause.
Fastball running away from him. Peterson had a pinch hit last night. But he took a sharp angle on that ball and had it carry over his head.
So Milwaukee brings the tying run to the plate, and the top of the order's coming up. Here's Segura, 1 for 3. Slider. Strike 1. Right there, strike 2.
Fultonevich pitched perhaps his best game. His best start came against the Brewers on May 24th. Pitched into the 8th inning, 7 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and only walked 1, struck out 7.
A run on 2 hits in relief tonight. 1-2 pitch. Out of play.
The only run he allowed came on a leadoff hit batsman, a base hit, and then a sacrifice fly.
Segura is peppering the upper deck. Lucroy is next. 33,000 plus are here tonight as David Carpenter is up now. Ground ball to second. That'll be the second out. Runner to third. Took a little off that pitch, and Segura served it safely to second base. Here's Lucroy with Peterson at third. Lucroy's already homered tonight. Bo Porter signaling the Braves outfielders how they want to defend Jonathan Lucroy.
Home run to right center, 2 fly balls to center.
Just missed, ball 1. He's missed with 3 in a row.
And a very good fastball hitter on deck.
That man is Ryan Braun. Lucroy walks. First and third with 2 outs. And Freddie Gonzalez will go get David Carpenter into the game. So Fultonevich, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 run so far. The fateful base on balls forces Freddie's hand, and we'll see how David Carpenter fares in the 7th.
Driving matters. And Georgia Power.
See the home of the Braves in a whole new way. Take a behind-the-scenes tour of the Braves press box, broadcast booth, clubhouse, and dugout. Tours are offered all year long and begin in the Braves Museum and Hall of Fame. For more information, call 404-614-2311. Another Braves debut tonight.
David Carpenter was putting together some really good numbers at Gwinnett. 37 innings pitched, he'd given up 3 earned runs, an 0.73 ERA, struck out 36 in those 37 innings and walked 15.
Well, he's got a mess inherited in the 7th. Ryan Braun in the batter's box, tying runs on for the Brewers, who've already scored 1 run so far in the frame.
He has pitched in the big leagues briefly. 1 game with the Angels last year after making his debut in 2012 with them.
He slings that one outside. 1 ball, no strikes. That one caught a corner, even count.
27 years old. Out of Arlington, Texas. Makes his home now in Midlothian, Texas.
Peterson at third, Lucroy at first. Vaughn bounces it foul, and he's down to his last strike. He's had a little trouble with a high fastball in this series. He struck out twice last night.
I think you're going to see that long arm sweeping slider right here.
Yep. And he got him. Beauty. Good call, Joe. And a good result. Carpenter retires the first man he faces, and he puts out the fire in the Milwaukee seventh. Foltynewicz gives up a run, but not the lead. It's now 4-2 as we head to the eighth. T-shirts, caps, jerseys, novelties, and much more, like the Tervis tumblers celebrating 50 years of Braves baseball. Stop by the clubhouse store at CNN Center to see what's in store for you, or call 404-523-5854 for more information. While we have a moment before the eighth inning starts, let's check out our DirecTV division standings update. Great races all around the major leagues, especially in the National League East, where with Washington's defeat at the moment, Atlanta only 4.5 games off the division pace. The Mets play in Los Angeles a little bit later on tonight. They're the second place club.
Pitchers Michael Blazek, he spent all of last year in AAA with the Brewers, but he's been in the big leagues with them before. This season 5-2, excellent ERA, excellent numbers up and down. Low to mid 90s fastball, slider, and a curve.
Juan Uribe, the batter. That's in San Francisco, I beg your pardon. They'll play the Giants later on tonight. It's the Phillies that are playing the Dodgers tonight. Scooter Gennett stays in the game. He'll play second in a 4-2 game in the eighth. And low, even count. Inside. 2 balls and a strike. Milwaukee's bullpen. Good ERA. Plays like a big part of that. He was their April pitcher of the month. In 9 games, a sub-1 ERA. Davison left, long run, sliding catch and a beauty. Covered a lot of ground. For a man with a surgically repaired knee, you wouldn't know it on that play.
This is a beautiful slide. He timed it perfectly. Well done.
Blazek likes it, and he should. One out for AJ. Perfect night at the plate for the Braves catcher again. Milwaukee led 1-0 on a Jonathan Lucroy first inning homer. Brzezinski tied it in the second with a solo shot of his own. AJ put the Braves ahead in the fourth with an RBI single. Maven an RBI triple in the fifth. Markakis an RBI hit in the seventh.
AJ's homer was hit to deep left center too. Pretty good poke.
And a two-hopper into the stands. A ball and 2 strikes. Sharply hit. Bud Lind at the line, gets there and makes the play.
Poor AJ can't buy a break.
2 outs. Nice play at first. Now it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SouthDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Pedro Siriaco's 1 for 3. David Ardsma prepares for the 8th. Banuelos, Vizcaino, Fultonevich, David Carpenter have already pitched tonight. Braves have an extra man in the bullpen with the road trip continuing in Denver next. Swing and miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In Denver tonight, the Angels are clubbing the Rockies. It's 10-2 in the 8th inning. Another rough year for Walt Weiss and the Rockies. Bouncer towards Segura. Big hop. He'll charge and throw on the run, and it's a 1-2-3 for Blazek in the 8th. Gomez, Linden, Ramirez coming up for Milwaukee. They're running out of time. We're in the 8th, 4-2 Atlanta. Here in Milwaukee, let's revisit our AT&T U-verse trivia question. We told you Aramis Ramirez is one of 3 active players with at least 15 homers and a .315 lifetime average against the Braves. Can you name the other 2 players?
David Wright, Ryan Howard.
All right, I'm going to say Matt Holliday, and who's the other guy I said? I forgot. I'll say Matt Holliday and Jimmy Rollins. Really? Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera.
And then we go to the bottom of the 8th,
where David Ardsma takes over out of the Atlanta bullpen.
Double switch. Simmons checks in the game for Siriaco at short, and he'll bat 9th.
Gomez didn't get it. Strike 1.
Carpenter looked outstanding with that slider, well placed slider to strike out Braun with 2 on in the 7th.
Gomez has walked and doubled tonight. Good off-speed pitch. Gomez didn't get it. David's got him set up. Now the 1-2 is high. Tehran and fires here tomorrow afternoon. That wraps up the series. Strike 3 called outside corner, and Gomez knew it. Good start.
Got caught looking for that breaking ball again. Good pitch, good call by Brzezinski. Bingo.
There's the first out of the 8th. Here's Lynn. He is singled and walked. Back to the screen. Strike 1.
12th appearance for Ardsma, and now 10 times he's retired the first batter he faces. That's a key stat for relievers.
Fly ball center. Maven back as far as he can go. Leaping try. Can't get it. A solo home run for Lind, his 15th, and Milwaukee is within a run.
That fastball right there jolted to center. Like he thought he had a play, jumped for it, but too far over his head.
6 years ago, Lind was a 35 homer man for the Jays. That's number 15. And now Aramis Ramirez can tie the game. It's 4-3 Atlanta, 1 away in the inning. Ramirez hitless tonight. Mentioned it last night. No lead is safe in this ballpark. This is a very hitterish place to play. So look at this. 1-2.
Pretty aggressive pull type swing for Ramirez, who likes the ball out away from him and likes to hit it to right center.
Still 1-2. Chris Davis is next. Strike 3 inside corner. Ramirez thought it was too tight. 2 outs.
Like a front door breaking ball. Not where AJ was looking for it. Had to backhand it. And PNC Bank Fox Track shows you that Eric Cooper was right. It didn't look pretty, but it worked.
Told you earlier, Cooper had the 8th best correct strike zone rating in the big leagues last year. High fly by Davis to left. But Perez is going to have room, and the inning is over. Davis just missed. Lind homered to center to make it a 1-run game. And we go to the 9th.
Reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Another entertaining night in Milwaukee, where the Brewers have closed to within a run. It's 4-3 Atlanta as we go to the 9th inning. Fans, slug your way to the Home Run Derby crown and master the free award-winning game millions are playing. Download MLB.com Home Run Derby free on the App Store and Google Play. 8-9-1 for the Braves. Blazek's back out there for the Brew Crew. Another run or two would make things a little more comfortable for the Braves. Perez, Simmons, and Jace Peterson are coming up. And just like that, it's 0-2. Perez scored a 5th inning run for Atlanta.
Yeah, giving up runs in the 7th and 8th make it awfully hard to go to the bottom of the 9th with just a 1-run lead. And I believe that is really loosening up.
Perez down on strikes. First at bat of the night for Andrelton Simmons. You're right, Joe, it is Jason Grilli.
Blazek looks really good, like those numbers were no fluke in April.
He's retired all 4 he's seen tonight. That's his first strikeout. Here's Andrelton. He's hit a dry spell at the plate too. Last 11 games, Simmons 5 hits in 39 tries. Strike after strike from Blazek. A shot to Lynn. Perfectly placed. 2 out. Key play in this game was the walk Will Smith issued to Jace Peterson, the first man he faced. That came in the 7th inning. And a shot to the left side and through on the first pitch. So that's the first base runner Blazek has allowed. And it'll bring Cameron Maben to the plate with 2 outs.
Not only that, it's a good sign for Jace that he hit the ball the other way.
Maben's had another good night. His first triple of the year. Our SunTrust save of the game.
Sinking line drive to right, got the run in, and then Ryan Braun ran right by it. Lucroy 35% on catching base stealers. Very good number.
No balls and a strike.
If Jace does try to steal, this is a good pitch to do it on. Since you don't leave Cameron very little to work with to try to drive you in.
Eight steals, 8 caught stealings of Jace Peterson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Not going. And that buzzed the tower. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, you would like to think that Blazek is paying too much attention to Jace, and like we talked about with Banuelos earlier tonight, makes a mistake at the plate.
Three balls, 1 strike. A walk would be nice. That would set up Markakis versus Blazek, and a runner would be in scoring position. Braves have done great work tonight with 2 outs scoring opportunities. All of their RBIs have come with 2 out. 3-1 pitch. Runner goes. Pitch a strike. The throw by Lucroy. A strike. I'll strike him out. That was a 3-1 pitch. It's a 3-2 count. Yeah, Eric Cooper raised his hand and said strike 3. Peterson was tagged out at second. The Braves may challenge this call, so mass confusion here at Miller Park.
Well, he was out at second, so it's a moot point.
There you go. That's the 3rd out of the inning. And no appeal. So we go to the 9th inning. 4-3 Atlanta. Trying to take 2 in a row from Milwaukee in the series. It's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Again, use hashtag SouthDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. It is Jason Grilli, and he'll have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up for Milwaukee. Scooter Gennett, Gerardo Parra is on deck and will pinch hit. Then Gene Segura, the leadoff man.
First time all year that Jason Grilli has worked 3 days in a row. He's had some 3 games in 4 days outings, but never 3 in a row.
Gennett came on and batted in the 7th inning and flied out. Bunt try, and it's out of play, foul. Strike 1. Really worked a 1-2-3 ninth last night. Ramirez, Segura, and Lucroy were the final 3 outs he recorded.
Banuelos would earn his first big league win.
That's high, even count.
Uribe and Kelly Johnson guarding the lines on the corners, trying to avoid any extra base hit being hit down the line.
That was a nasty pitch.
You know, he's got that slide step fastball that's very effective, and when he does it and throws a slider, boy, are the hitters fooled, and they have a hard time staying back.
Swing and a miss. Grilli fired a 94-mile-an-hour heater right on by. 1 out.
Went right after him, couldn't catch up. Tough out here.
Gerardo Parra. Homered here last night. And he's down a strike. Parra's 7th in the league in hitting at the start of tonight's play, a .311 average.
Banuelos started, so Chris Davis, fresh off the disabled list, got the start in left field instead.
Oh, 2. Really had a very economical inning last night. 3 outs on 11 pitches. Maybe a little fresher than we think. Pitching in his 3rd straight. Out of play. 0-2. That was number 7 in tonight's outing.
Don't have to throw a strike here. Let's see what they come up with.
Swing and a miss. Good off-speed stuff from Grilly tonight. Back-to-back strikeouts and one more out to get.
Was it slide step slider, and it wasn't his best, but it certainly worked. Got to respect the fastball, and that's what does it.
Gene Segura is all that stands in the way of a big league win for Manny Banuelos. He's 1 for 4 tonight. Strike one with a heater. Oh, and 2.
He's got it all working tonight. Looks good. He's gotten ahead of all 3 hitters.
No balls, 2 strikes. Off the facing of the second deck, foul.
Yes.
2.
It was an emergency check swing.
No balls, 2 strikes again. Pop fly foul. Now Grilly's got his sign. Here we go again. 0-2. Ball game. Grilly struck out the side.
Wow. Upstairs with that one.
The Braves have won the series against Milwaukee. And Manny Banuelos, after all those years of acclaim, all those years and months of rehab following Tommy John surgery, his first